Hello and welcome to Mr. Ridley's Design and Technology. In this clip we're going to look at part one of making this circuit. This is the toothbrush timer circuit. So we're going to start off, we've got our toothbrush timer PCB here. The other equipment I've got is a soldering iron and a stand. I've put a little bit of water on the stand, on the sponge, sorry, I've got a sponge there and I can use that just to clean the tip of my soldering iron. I've also got some side cutters, some solder, and I've got 3 resistors. So on this stage of the assembly, we're just going to add the 3 resistors. If you look here, we've got 3 resistors. And we call this populating the PCB. So to fit the 3 resistors, and we name the resistors R1, R2, and R3. R1 and R2 are 10k resistors, so they are coloured brown, black, orange. You can see there I've marked them R1 and R2, and then we've got R3, which is a 470R resistor, and that is yellow, violet, brown, and we can see yellow, violet, brown. So we've got the 2 the same and 1 different, and we've got R1, R2, R3. So if we look at our circuit board, I've just got a close-up of our circuit board here, and we can just see, I think if you can see that, R1, R2, R3. So our first circuit board, our first resistor that we're going to add to the circuit board, or the PCB, we're going to take the resistor like this, we take it and hold it here and here, and what we're going to do is just pull and bend the 2 legs at 90 degrees. If you can see that, I've bent the legs at 90 degrees, and this one is a 10k, so it's an R1. And if we look here at the circuit board, and we can see R1, you can see that there, R1, and we're just going to put the circuit, where we've bent the legs over, we can just put those through the 2 holes. Can you see that? You can see that, we put it through the circuit board, and then we're just going to push it, and then what's quite good here is to pull this down. We want to pull the resistor right down, you can see there, down on the circuit board, and then we just pull the legs out about 10 degrees, and that means if we turn it upside down and tap it, it doesn't fall out. So that's our R1, which is a 10k. Then we need to take the other 10k, and we're going to take that one, we're going to do the same thing, we're going to bend the legs at 90 degrees, try and bend them around nicely so they're bent exactly at 90. We've got the resistor here, which is R2, and we're going to put that through the hole, and we can see there the same thing, we're pulling it from underneath, pulling it down neatly so it's nice, it's level or right up against the PCB, and then we can pull these legs apart. These components don't have polarity, they don't have a negative and positive, so they can go in anyway. Then the last one, and we can see this one, and if you can see that, but it's a different colour there, and this one is the yellow, violet, brown, so this is R3, and this is the 470R resistor. Again, bend those legs out nice at 90 degrees, come over, and we can see there where it says R3. We're going to put that through and again pull the legs out. So now we can just check, we've got our R1 10k, R2 10k, and R3, which is a 470, that's the different one, is there. Then, because we've bent the legs over, we can turn the circuit board upside down, and we're going to solder to here. Now what we're going to do is we've cleaned the tip of the soldering iron, we take a little piece of solder. Now we put on our safety goggles, so I've got my safety goggles on here, and I'm just going to add the solder to the soldering iron, clean it off, and we can see that we've got a nice clean shiny tip of the soldering iron there. We're working in a well ventilated place, and then I'm going to solder these resistors. So I'm going to put the tip of the soldering iron on to the pad, and then I'm going to add some solder. and I'm going to put the tip of the soldering iron onto the pad and add some solder. Now if you can look at that and you can see how that is, you can see the one that I've soldered there and the one that isn't soldered. So again, I touch the tip of the soldering iron on the pad, and then for the last one here, move that over so you can see. Now, hold the tip of the soldering iron onto the pad, not onto the wire, just onto the circular pad, and add the solder. So if we look at that now, and you should be able to see there the 6 solder joints that I've made. Then what we can do with the side cutters, we take these side cutters here. The side cutters are called side cutters because you can see they cut nicely up into the board there. And we just cut 1, 2, 3, and you should try and cut the legs of the component off up as close as you can so that they're nice, not too sticking out. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 solder joints, and we turn it around there and we can see our resistors, 3 resistors fitted. So that's the R1, R2 and R3 resistors fitted to our PCB. Thanks for watching Mr. Ridley's Design and Technology.